We look to be
Yay!
live.
We're actually live, and we're actually live in the Facebook group too. So, holy cow. Here we go.
Third time's the charm.
Yep, that's it. Yeah. every time people don't know, like behind the scenes is like every week the technology decides to, I mean, there's a reason why we have a minute and a half opening. It's because it takes us that long to make sure that we're actually connected to where we're supposed to be connected to. I think that's why Danny has a 5-minute long one when he's doing his calls, because sometimes it takes that long just to make sure the technology is working right. So especially with the way Skynet went and messed up how we can stream into these groups. But either way, so we are back now for the third week of Super Ambassadors Live. The first week, who did we talk to? We talked to Greg Dakins a couple weeks ago about how to use swipe files in BarnumPT to do your funnel hacking. Then last week we talked to Liz, and she talked a whole bunch about Canva, mostly on the organization and storage side. We're going to have both of them back, but we're definitely going to have Liz back to talk more about designing using Canva, especially all of the really super cool AI tools they got in there now. And then who we got going after that, Madison? Who else got coming up over the next couple of weeks? I can't remember.
Well, I think we have some really exciting guests coming up. We got rumored to be Greg Dakins is coming back with, I'm hoping, his funnel optimization system that's getting him like 17,000 extra % opt-in and conversion rate.
17,000. I think that might be a slight. Is that what it was? Okay, that might be a slight exaggeration. So just legal terms here. Don't believe everything that we say. So okay,
I think it was 3x.
3x. Okay, well, the 3x is still a hell of a number. Just for going through the trouble of optimizing your site, making sure that it loads fast, cut down image sizes, that kind of stuff. But I know Greg says that he's found something super duper cool that he's going to dazzle us with. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And I'm pretty sure Winter Jones is going to be on here at some point. Carlos Vargas is going to come on here at some point in the next few weeks to talk to us. He doesn't know that yet, but I'm announcing it anyway, to talk to us about Voomly, getting that set up with your ClickFunnels account and all the cool stuff you can do there to pass data back and forth between the two accounts. But we're going to jump into what we got today. In the wings right now, we have Johny Caparo, and he's going to show us some stuff. I'm going to show you a little quick video first before that, but then he's going to jump in here and he's going to show us how he's using blogging and BarnumPT inside of ClickFunnels. I think in his case, especially to be working with local businesses, working on their SEO and getting found online. But before that, it's one of the things we've been talking about for a long time is showing off some of the stuff that we personally, myself and or Madison, have been working on. And so I shot a short little video here. I think it's about 5-6 minutes long of some stuff I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. It was actually inspired originally by the ClickFunnels homepage and all of the what I refer to as engagement devices on there, the sliders, the typing text, that kind of stuff. So that sent me down a very deep rabbit hole. And so I got the project mostly done yesterday. I've tweaked a few other little things since, but I just wanted to show that to everybody, just to show you some of the possibilities of what can be done inside of ClickFunnels. And also, in the end, you're going to find out that all the naysayers who say if you put this stuff on your site, it's going to kill your page speed, you're going to see at the end, it didn't do a thing. So can you roll that for us, Madison?
I'm going to roll the video.
So I want to show you some stuff I've been working on lately. As we know, ClickFunnels came out with their new homepage, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago. I don't recall anymore. And of course, they had some things on here that I generically refer to as engagement devices, like we have the typewriter effect here, and we had a couple other little things here on the page. Let me see here. We had a slider down here, which I build a lot of sliders. And then, I forget, that wasn't a slider, but then we have something kind of sort of like a slider here. And so what I did when this came out is I built my own version. So we have up here at the top typewriter effect, and I mocked up this thing down here in the middle, put in a slider that I built myself. And then again, here we have the same thing right there, and when you click on the buttons, it moves along just fine. Well, what that did is it sent me down a very deep rabbit hole into working on a typewriter effect and perfecting it as far as I'm concerned. So what I started off with here is the original way that ClickFunnels did it, which was to use an array of phrases right here. And now what they did is they built theirs 100% in HTML and all that. I did not do that on mine. I'll show you how I did mine in a minute here, but I did kind of go back to the way that they did it old school with doing the just the phrases in an array like this, and this is what you can have. Now, if you do it this way, there's one other thing you can have here. If we go to the next page, is we have what we call the magic backspace. And what it's going to do here, you're going to see there, it just left the word finally. And if you look down on the list here, we have 3 in a row that have finally to begin with. And now we're going to go up here to the top where it's going to say getting that llama. And then it's going to say getting 2 llamas, but it's going to leave the word getting in there. So it only backspaces to the point where it finds some text that it already has, and it knows what all the text is, of course, because it's put into this array. We're going to come back here. It's going to leave the word achieving and then go across again. Okay, that's pretty cool, but we've all seen that before. So let's go on one further here, and let me reload this page right here. And so I kept the same thing that Russell had in his, which was the word from here at the beginning. And I said, okay, well, let's put a bunch of statements in here. But what we did here instead is we used native elements inside of ClickFunnels. And as you know, I always like using the native elements because we can put all kinds of styling into them. And as you see, as it's typing across up here, it's actually maintaining the styling. So we got the word impacting was underlined here. We got 2 comma club has the italics on it. Building a legacy, the word building is underlined. So it maintained that styling while going into the typewriter effect. Well, the problem is it doesn't maintain all the styling. So if we come over here, and let me just reload this one again too, we have launching, which is the regular font color, and then we have the bold font color is red. Well, what you're going to see here is, so now it went down to the second one, which was clearly a different font family, and it turned the white, as you can see here, impacting should be white. It turned that light blue, and then we have millions should be orange. It made it red, and we're going to see the same thing here, where 2 comma club is going to come in red, and the white is blue, and we lost the shadow in the back here. So again, that wasn't good enough for me, and I went even further down the rabbit hole and spent way too much time working on this, but this is what I came up with in the end. So let me just reload this here. So we start off here with changing the world, and I always leave this one at the top just so you can remind yourself of what that first one looked like. Well, then we go down here to launching the course, which is a totally different color, had a line through, and also you're going to notice here the cursor changes colors. Now, you don't have to change the cursor color if you don't want. You can keep that the same all the way through, but it is 100% picking up all the styling that I built directly into the ClickFunnels element, including changing out the font family, as you see right there. It's keeping the, let me just reload this page here. But again, it's keeping the colors, it's keeping the font family, it's keeping the line height, it is keeping absolutely everything, the font size, everything it is maintaining from one to the next. Now, there's a lot of guys who will tell you not to put engagement devices like this on your site because they say, oh, it's going to kill your page load speed. Well, I ran GT metrics on the exact page you can see up here in the top left corner. It's the same page I just got done showing you, and I got an A rating, 97% performance, 91% on the structure. You can see here, first contentful paint was in 380 milliseconds. Time to interactive was less than 1 second. So we go over here to our performance, and we again can see some of that same data. come here to structure. We can see there is no red in here at all. It is all green, and I'll have to figure out what eliminate render blocking resources are, but I'm not really too worried about that when I have a 97% score on the page right there. So just in case you're worried about that kind of stuff, don't worry about it. If it's built right, if it's built using native elements inside of ClickFunnels, and it doesn't make a whole bunch of external calls to all kinds of other sites, you're going to be just fine. As you can see here, I got an A rating. If you're interested in building out something like this, the only thing I would say, a caveat, is don't get too crazy. Don't what I did here is too crazy. We go totally different font families and stuff, but I just wanted to show you what could be done if you wanted something like this on your site. So if you got any questions about this, you want one of these on your site, just feel free to reach out to me.
Pretty cool. I know Mary was loving it. Janelle, Holly's in the chat, which I think what Jonathan's going to talk about is something Holly's going to love, because you can use this for affiliate marketing, right? Maybe.
What Johnny's talking about, or
what Johnny's going to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt, you can use that for affiliate marketing. And I was going to say, on what I just did there, I'm just going to add a little caveat to it, is I've actually made like 12 improvements to what you were seeing there just this morning. Because, once you get something done, you got to polish it. And so I've been polishing it today. And so that's going to turn out great. So you started talking about Johnny. Why don't you introduce him? Let's get him on here, because I know he's got like a 30+ minute presentation to go through.
Well, here's Johnny.
Yay!
Hey. How's it going, everybody?
Going pretty good.
All right, Johnny, why don't you give us a real quick, who are you? And then, like Russell would say, it's like, we got to get the origin story. We got to get who are you? But then we got to get the origin story of how'd you figure this thing out? And then just dazzle us.
Oh, sure. So you guys see my screen here, right?
Nope, I got pulled up. Okay, you're good.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you both absolutely tremendously for having me here. It's such a pleasure. It's actually my first live, and it's a real honor to be here. So I may stumble a little bit, but I also think that this is pretty great over here. This was the first screen that I was going to share, and it actually is what Dan was just going over with these engagement devices. So this, as we all know, is ClickFunnels homepage, and I figured that I was going to tell my origin story while I was on this screen, just so that I wouldn't be on a blank page. I loved how the headline was changing, and this headline changing is actually one of the things that got me into ClickFunnels. So not necessarily this headline changing, but this, you're one funnel away from, the idea that you're one funnel away from something. Everybody is one funnel away from something. So mine was, for about 15 years or so, I had been running an offline meat distribution business that was 7 and 8 figures of sales every year, and it was driving me crazy. I loved it, but I also, since I was offline, I was doing so much stuff on my own. I was boots on the ground, getting sale after sale after sale to like all these top New York restaurants, and bringing them amazing top quality product. And I had realized, though, that I was now at this point where I could only do so much on my own, with my own canvassing, with the referrals that I was getting. And I wanted to go online and have this ability to get chefs and bring them into the meat market where I was working out of, and have them go on a tour. So I wound up creating my first funnel, which was ugly, 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 and then progressed from there. But what I wound up doing, what wound up actually giving me this push to become a funnel builder, was that I had started with the One Funnel Away challenge, and I wanted more. So I found out that there was more. I learned how to get certified in funnel building for ClickFunnels. And what that did for me was set in motion this whole process where I was going to go from a 7, 8 figure business that I'd been doing for 15 years to a complete turnaround where I say, I'm done with that. And I'm done with that meant that in, let's see, can you guys see this screen over here? February 15, 2024.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that's a year and a little bit ago. I actually created a bunch of content for my site, and it went out. It was supposed to be for Valentine's Day, and I was going after Bronx chefs for this type of meat over here. And
Which,
I
Johnny, I
wound
do
up,
have to say, I am
sure,
wearing my Angus Association vest. I'm a proud member of the American Angus Association.
I love it.
Certified Angus beef is the way to go.
There you
That
go.
is so amazing. Like, full circle here. I'm supposed to be on with you without a doubt. So, certified Angus beef, actually, on February 14th, even though it says over here February 15th, there was a whole bunch of content that I had produced. And on the 14th it was like 5 in the morning over here. I'm giving my cousin a ride to JFK, and my phone is blowing up, and it's a number from Ohio, and I don't recognize it. And I'm like, nobody's looking for me. I've got a mission. I got my cousin to get someplace. Turns out when I got home, it was certified Angus beef wanting to know why I was now ranking above them and all sorts of questions. Well,
I mean,
even though,
that brings up a good point. Like, if we need to break down the marketing lesson of what made black beef the leader, the Angus beef versus Herefords or Shorthorns or all the other cattle, is like the marketing from the American Angus Association made that the beef, the meat to eat. Sorry, sidetrack. Follow my YouTube channel for that breakdown. I guess I'll do it myself.
I'm cool. We could totally sidetrack. Just know that I didn't take us past the 30, 40 minutes that you allotted.
Well,
So anytime, honestly, I've got all these sticky notes on my wall over here. One of them says to totally ask you to keep me on track, but also to interrupt in case, there's anything that you want to add. And if I go on a tangent like I am now.
So back to the American Angus Association.
Okay, so they wanted to know what I was up to, how I got this going on, how I was using let's see, actually in images over here. I see this image over here would also lead you to content that I created. And they weren't so happy that I was using their brand on my content. But in reality, I had access to their branding. I had like their backdoor marketing stuff, and it really wasn't an issue. So they asked me to remove some stuff, and it was fine. But at that point, when I was like at 5 in the morning on Valentine's Day, where I'm over here trying to sell your product, you guys are over here making me nervous, making me crazy. And I was like, I'm going to go all in, and I'm a funnel builder. And that was the last day I delivered meat. I literally called all my customers and switched over to where now I take orders, and somebody else, one of these other suppliers that I was working with, fulfills my orders. So it worked out perfectly. But that is really how I wound up then saying, if I could cause so much stir with content where all I was trying to do was sell product, like go online, I could certainly help so many other people because it was amazing. Absolutely
well,
amazing to see
let's
that.
just stop here for a second and think about
Sure.
a couple things that just occurred here. First thing, you went from being the person doing the thing to the person organizing the people who are doing the thing. Right there, you alone turned this into a business instead of a job. Up until that point, you had a job. Now you have a business because you're organizing the people who are doing the thing. The other thing that Madison said was that Angus beef became Angus beef, not because it's better, not because people were begging for it. It became Angus beef because of their advertising.
And we should clarify that's Black Angus, because there is also
Okay,
Red Angus.
Okay.
And you don't, the American Angus Association is the black hided Angus cattle. They're all genetically the same. It's just the color of their fur, basically, right? Their hide. And that's the differentiation that even other, and I'm getting nerdy because I have a cattle ranch, right? Other different like Herefords will bring you yield you less money if you sell them than the Angus because of the marketing behind the American Angus Association.
Yeah,
Certainly.
So marketing created,
which is why they were on top of me at 5 a.m. wanting to know what it was.
Well, the other thing
is
it's also interesting about what you said is, so here you are busting your hump out there advertising for these guys, getting them business, so people are buying more Angus beef, which is going to drive the price of it up and make all the people selling Angus beef more money. And what do these big corporate dummies do? They go, "Hey, dude, quit using our logo.
Using our logo.
Yeah, stop that, man."
Me. Definitely stressed me.
Yeah. So, but no, you
enough
made the
to
right
make
move
such a
here.
big change. Sure.
You made the right move because you became the organizer of the people doing the thing. Therefore, you just make yourself a lot more money. Now, Let's move forward here.
Awesome. So, if there's anything that I could teach you guys today, it's probably going to be not about this local thing. It's all of these favicons up here. I love them. You need to put a favicon on your site, which is these little icons that show it. Like, it keeps me organized. I've always got so many web or browser tabs open. So
okay, we're looking at the experts page. Is that what we're supposed to be looking at? Is the experts page?
Yes, absolutely. So this is then where I got to. So I think that after this whole experts thing, where I think everybody should go to take a look. So if they want to hire Madison or if they want to hire Dan, which, that was such an amazing introduction, all the work that you guys could do, people can literally find all of us experts over here at clickfunnels.com/funnel builders. And, each time you refresh this, you see there's Madison over here right now. Each time you refresh, you see somebody new, or you can filter out. So
okay, let's get into the blogging stuff, because that's the stuff that I really want to see, and it's also what we told people that we were going to be doing here today. So let's see some of that stuff.
Well, I thought you wanted my origin story, so we're past my origin story. I am an expert now, and
now what's after the origin story? First, after the origin story comes secret number one. So what's secret number one?
I'm a hero. No, now I've got the cape. I'm the hero, and I'm flying high. Sure. Okay. So with all these browsers that you see that are open, this is part of that local or that SEO stuff, where you see, like, each time I move it over, it's showing what's going on.
Actually, StreamYard hides that.
I see. Okay. So I went on about those favicons for nothing.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I couldn't figure out what you were talking about.
I'm so sorry, folks. All right. So we are on the features for ClickFunnels page, which shows that, ClickFunnels blog got purpose. And let's see, over here, this is the ClickFunnels blog page. And I just wanted to show this as an example of why using a ClickFunnels blog is so powerful. So over here, you can see they're using a survey element, I'm almost certain. And it helps to, like, grab a lead from somebody that has landed on this page and narrow them down, right? If they're into e-commerce or network marketing. So on ClickFunnels blog homepage, there's also some of their categories, and they've got these awesome tiles over here that you could see exactly what's going on inside of that blog. And down at the bottom of their homepage, again, they're trying to funnel you into a free trial. So I really think that these are super powerful. Absolutely. Like, if you've got a page that somebody lands on, they can then become a lead. They can get your lead magnet, which over here is ClickFunnels free trial. If it's a local business, maybe they're giving away a coupon or something. So over here, I know that everybody wants to know how to set up a blog. and they're probably going to have some questions since we only got a little while. Do you see this?
Yes,
the
you're in the
document. Yeah.
ClickFunnels docs. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, if you could share that maybe so that people could go in here. This has so much valuable information, without a doubt. And this is actually my site. I just wanted to let you all know that this is something I truly believe, that funnels without traffic are just websites. And let's see. Now I'm going to actually get into some of the blogs, exactly what you all been waiting for. So can you see this little icon over here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
That's
Barnum.
BarnumPT.
BarnumPT. We all love Barnum. And up in my browser bar, I also have BarnumPT. So what I was trying to be able to show everybody today was how to create a year's worth of content and use their ClickFunnels account, use ChatGPT, and also use the Backstage Pass on BarnumPT. You have a week trial that's $1. And I'm certain that using BarnumPT and some of this process that I'm going to show you, you'd be able to get this done in a week if you just wanted to create a year's worth of local content. And now it may be different though for every business, right? There's so many different types of businesses out there. So what I actually wound up doing with this particular business over here was it's a window replacement business. And this site has only been around for about a month or so. And already in Google, if you are searching for Pelham Gardens, which is a neighborhood in the Bronx, and window installation, that site is right underneath Home Depot. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. So let's see. In my Google Search Console for that particular site, just in the past 28 days, they have gotten nearly 1,400 impressions, 32 clicks. And from those 32 clicks, I actually wound up getting, I think it was 4 different leads that came through, and I passed them on to the customer. So this is something that I had only just started to experiment with. So it's not that the customer had asked me to necessarily create this for them. It was that I wanted to experiment with creating blogs within ClickFunnels and getting them to rank. So after showing them this, and let's see, their
Now,
blogs over
was this
here.
a customer you were already working with, or was this somebody that you just like pulled out of the yellow pages and you're like, I'm going to build this for them and then get them to buy it later?
Sure. So I had already been working with them doing some other stuff, but it wasn't building their uh, leads or their ClickFunnels. So now they've seen what's going on. We've sat down and they are super impressed, without a doubt. So what I actually did though for them, since there is so many neighborhoods in the Bronx and in Yonkers or in the areas where they are, I broke down their neighborhood into multiple, or that city into multiple neighborhoods, and then created a post for each neighborhood. And with that, there is the ability, I feel like, to be able to then schedule for an entire year, once a week, a new neighborhood to go out, so that Google constantly sees that you're putting out fresh content and it's relevant to the area. And certainly putting out this content, and this wouldn't have been there, right? Like putting out that content wouldn't have gotten, you could see all these inquiries, right? Where it's just different words that, or search phrases that people are Googling. Such a weird thing to say, but you could see like that people actually are looking for certain stuff. And if you're a local business, you could see like this one has 52 impressions, like that you could possibly create more content around that particular area. So let's see. Also now for this one is a local asphalt company. And same thing, I did a bunch of their the local areas where they serve, and I used ChatGPT to make a prompt that I then fed into our trusty BarnumPT, and then I used a prompt to then create these images that you see over here, all right within ClickFunnels. So I didn't even have to leave ClickFunnels. I made the blog, I made the image all right inside ClickFunnels. It was amazing. So also to show like what happened with this Pine Bush, New York commercial asphalt paving. I only created this article just the other day, 1 day ago, it says. And of course, that's why it is ranking up top. You need to keep your content coming, keep it relevant, have it make sense, not be low quality. But you could see just 1 day ago, everything here is sponsored, 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 and then that content shows up. That's amazing. It wouldn't be there, right? There's no advertising necessarily that you could do for this particular price, which is very, very small, $1, and you're going to get an entire year's content if you go through this. But also doing this, if this particular company were to do Google advertising or do Facebook advertising, that somebody would also Google them, right? And like this actually helps with the conversion. It helps with keeping the costs for the acquisition down when you've got an ad that's out there, because people have, like they'll see content or an advertisement, they'll go to Google and then they'll see all sorts of content on that business, and it definitely helps to convert them. Once they're on your site, they see what you're all about, and you could keep them there hopefully and keep them engaged. So same thing over here. I had done an article on Rhinebeck commercial paving, and it was only 2 days ago. And same thing, sponsored, 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 and there it goes. And I guess done a while ago also some content on Rhinebeck, New York commercial paving, and that's also over there.
So Johnny, are you like doing like, because I know the big thing with blogs is like keywords and SEO. Are you using ChatGPT to add those in so that you're actually ranking with those different keywords, or how do you get to the top, page of Google? Because a lot of us have made blogs that have honestly gone nowhere.
Well, yeah, I
Of
was going to move
course.
forward on one thing and go, okay, show us how you do this, because we got the results.
the
We
secret
see that
sauce?
it's effective. You're getting to the top of Google. Show us how to do it.
Awesome. So I'm going to show you how to do it, but I can't guarantee it, right? Like I'm not doing anything special, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing, certainly. So,
And
excuse
maybe
me.
Barnum's just that good. Maybe it's just the Barnum magic.
It could be.
And everybody goes and downloads it and get the backstage pass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with Barnum, I had, let's see. So inside Barnum, there's where you can actually create offers. Let me see what it's called. Yeah, actually it's creating offers, right? So that's, I guess, one of the backstage tools that you could use. And within the offer, I just put the name of the place, what their type is, so
Okay, so hang on
adding
here.
this,
How did you get to this page here? Because I've never seen this page before.
All right, so you've been to this page, their Barnum dashboard.
Okay, so you're on the dashboard.
Let's see what happens when I open this. Go to web app. I'm not too sure, but yes. So go to web app.
Okay.
Right, you saw where that was? This top right over there.
Right. Okay.
And then it gives you, this is where you can install. Sure, you do your install over there. You got some AI. You could, so with, I guess, Barnum AI, I'm calling it backstage, and I'm realizing that it's called Barnum AI at this point. I'm so sorry. So Barnum AI.
The backstage is the paid version of Barnum. So I think you're still on track.
Yeah, I thought that now maybe it was changed to be called Barnum AI.
They may have changed it 14 times.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I wanted you to show us how you got there. So you click the little icon in the top right-hand corner. This web app opens up, and now in here we can go to tools.
Yes, in tools,
okay. And here you can create an offer. Now, what does creating an offer do for you?
So when I am building out a blog, right? So I've put all the info about the um, business or the offer in
Okay,
there.
slow down here. Okay, let's look at what we got in here. So we got the name, we got the type, but then we start getting into description, target audience, problem solved, value proposition. I had no idea any of this was in there, and I talked to Winter
I
virtually
guess
every
this
day.
is to like help Barnum
Yeah.
with its AI to
Yeah,
get it just a little bit better. Sure.
yeah. You ask a whole bunch of questions, you feed in the right information, and it's going to definitely give you better results.
Definitely. And as you see there, I didn't fill in everything here. There's so much that you can put over here.
Okay, so we got all the information in here then. I mean, for people who used to use something like, what was Jim's old thing?
Funnel
Uh,
scripts.
funnel scripts, very similar to funnel scripts. So you go in there, you answer all the questions that Jim had in his little widgets, and then it would spit out the copy for you. And Winter obviously did exactly the same thing here. You fill out these blanks, and now we're going to see what this is going to do for us. So what do we do next?
All right, let's see what else do we have here. Let's see. So we have, I'm so sorry, guys. You guys want to see how to make a blog, I know, right? Are we okay? So
Well,
this
okay. Well, let's
is
just go back to the offer
where we're
thing. So
going to create a blog. Sure.
you filled all the information into the offer. What do you do with it next? Because you got to click on something or do something once you put all the information in there.
There you go. Oh, so as you can see,
Okay.
I put
Oh,
it
okay.
here.
So the offer is a separate thing, and then you can come into, what did you come into here? Is this inside the blog post?
Oh, sure. So yeah, I'm in blog posts and
Okay.
I go just right up into the little icon.
Okay. And so in here, then
And
you
then
can inject your offer that you just created into this. Okay. And then what do we got here for design? It says let BarnumPT build it. And what else? Is there not anything else in that drop down?
build with my templates. So I clicked that one time and then I just got distracted. So I didn't want to necessarily mess with it too much until I asked Winter about it or learned a little bit more about it. So I've just been
Okay.
saying, let BarnumPT build. And it's
Well,
been
again,
doing
I
a
haven't
good
seen
job
any of
for
this
me.
before, so I didn't even know some of this. I didn't know the stuff was in there even. Okay. So now here
Awesome.
we are. We got our offer loaded in. What's the next step?
So what I actually am realizing though, that the area that I'm in is not for this offer, but still we're going to leave the offer out. And I'm going to go over into Chat GPT, where I had been creating a pretend Hudson Valley dog spa,
Okay.
like a mobile grooming thing. And now it's asking me over here if I want to continue with the next town. So I'm going to say yes. And ChatGPT is going to give me a prompt that I'm going to put into Barnum Blog Builder. Whether I'm doing this and adding this extra step for no reason, I don't know. But I also know that the way that I'm doing it is keeping everything in order and making it so that it just goes town to town and my prompts are staying organized and consistent. And like I say, I'm not sure if I'm adding an extra step, if somebody could just write into their blog builder what they want, but
Well,
I've been
the
doing
more
it this way. And
information you feed into this engine, the better you're going to get out, and the more possibilities on blog posts are going to get out. So you can create all the information, put it into the offer. Then you can go into, I think what we're going to see here next, you're going to go in there where it says brain dump. You're going to dump all this information in it. So you got the brain dump that ChatGPT just gave you, plus you got your offer on top of that, and together now it's going to hopefully spit out an incredible blog post.
The only thing you could do to make it faster and more streamlined is to have some type of like AI automation where you have all your cities in a Google spreadsheet and you have AI then dump all that, basically what you're going to put in here to the brain dump in another column, matching that. So you wouldn't have to go back and forth and type in the city names, and you could have AI and
amazing.
automation do that for you.
I love it.
That's what I'm learning about. That's what I'm nerding out about.
Okay,
Right,
so
like
what
anything
happens
to
now
make
if
it
we
easier because sure. So what you're saying though, right? Like making things easier. I think that that's amazing. And we're going to get to making it easier. I'm going to click this generate blog post, but I just don't want people to be fooled where you think that you can just create content and AI is going to do it. This is your business, your business. You know your business the best. So after you let AI create your content, you have to edit it. You have to look at it. You have to say, is this factual? It is your business. Okay. So over here, I copied and pasted, right? But in the prompt over here, I had also asked for ChatGPT to give me an image generation. So back over here, I had removed that and it's pasted. I'm going to paste it in a little bit. So I'm going to show you. But I also in here, there's this replace images with Unsplash. I've been checking it, not checking it. I'm really not too sure what's happening with that right now. So it may be something that's in development, but I've just been checking it. So generate. Makes sense, right? Oh, this is getting so exciting. It's going to open up a little side piece here. Look at, oh, this is so amazing. You see this SEO and sharing? It says Sleepy Hollow, New York, dog grooming at home, senior pet grooming. Like that's already perfect. If that's a search term, no? If there's somebody in Sleepy Hollow, New York that's looking for dog grooming for their senior pet, what's going to pop up? Hopefully this someplace on the first page. Maybe, and you know what's actually, all these things that I've showed you where everything's on the top page. I live in an area, I'm right now like 15 miles from New York City. Where I live is got so much competition. But I think that these things are generated to answer a question where there may not be somebody that's necessarily answering this question about senior pet grooming being mobile in that particular town. You may find that nobody is searching that term and you create another piece of content later. All right, so after it creates the content, it closes it for whatever reason. You have to go back into it.
Well, and I like the title too, gentle at-home grooming for your elderly dogs. Basically, that's that
Sure.
actually that's good.
Definitely. Gives you a summary. And then over here now, we're going to say add feature image. So again, I'm over here trying to do this and I'm doing it with a fake business. If people wind up clicking on this, I'm not ruining my reputation, right? Like I'm going to do this as an experiment. I'm going to take it down. So when you go and add your images, make sure that you're happy with it. So let's see, let me show you guys again. Select image, we're going to add this featured image. And the featured image is going to be something like this, right? Like on the blog, you'll see that featured image. So now in the featured image gallery, or in our image gallery, we're gonna click marketing.ai. I feel like so many people skip right over this if they even go in their image gallery. This is ClickFunnels inbuilt AI image generator. Amazing. Watch, I'm gonna paste that prompt. I had the funnel prompt or the blog prompt. I had the image prompt, and now here's our image prompt.
Now,
Let's
the
see
image
what
prompt
happens.
was again that came from ChatGPT, correct?
Yes, over here in
Okay.
ChatGPT, I got the.
Okay, so in your prompt, when you prompted this in the first place, you asked it to also give you an image prompt.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I have a little, I don't know if it is going to be helpful, but I have a share like this over here where you can kind of do what I did. If you're also willing to be specific and stuff, this will bring people through it. I don't mind sharing this share link somehow. We'll get there.
You can put it
But,
in the comments of the video when we're done. It might be the easiest.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. That sounds perfect.
Okay,
So yes, it did have.
You put the image generation prompt in wherever you put it on whatever page. What did we get out of that? I think you were in marketing.ai. And so you didn't hit enter apparently, or
I
where's
should
your
have, right? Well, I
It's
was
spinning. It was going.
multitasking. You know, it
oh,
is
was it
now. I
going?
should have
I'm like,
clicked
well, there's
before
no button on that page.
Yep. They could have come back to an already generated image.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with image generation when you're trying to do something live is this the image or you changed the page?
Oh, so yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm
Okay.
on the homepage for the fake Hudson Valley dog spa that I created, where you could see it's dog.myclickfunnels.com. And I actually also threw that into Google to see like if people were searching, and I've only had this for 7, 10 days or so, and there is a little bit of search activity for this. So what I actually did though is like just use a framework and add this in, and voila, we have a amazing start to a Hudson Valley dog spa mobile grooming place. Let's
So
see
I
if
think
that image
what
generated.
what you're showing here is like those SEO details, the descriptions. It actually matters. Like so many people guilty charged just ignore it or just copy the same thing and just put something in that doesn't really, it's your people are not searching for it, it doesn't make sense to them, or it's simply just not enough information for Google to properly crawl your page and show it to the right people.
Absolutely. And I think some people may also not let Google know that their site is there. They have to sign up for their Google search account. I don't know what it's called. We'll also check that out. I'm sure Dan knows though, or you both probably know.
Well, it
What is it
wasn't a
called?
Google Places or something where you can go in there for your local business and you can claim
Sure.
your property, your
Absolutely.
address, give them the information, all that kind of
Certainly.
stuff.
We
And
actually
yeah,
might
I
have
mean
to have
the SEO metadata is most useful in social media kind of situations, or in the actual information in the listing itself. But I will also tell you that Google does not rely upon tags, SEO, anything like that in putting out your information, because they will go in and pick out something with 15th paragraph down and serve that up to you if that's what answers your question. So it's important
Certainly.
to not just have the metadata correct. It's important to have the entirety of the blog post all being specific to
Vitality.
this area, but also not be
Sure.
spammy and not be, cramming keywords and stuff in there too. So that's the
Certainly.
nice thing about having, if, I mean, I haven't read any of these blog posts, but if these blog
Sure.
posts are written properly, they will get past all of those filters that Google has to get rid of spam.
and
Without a
Dan,
doubt.
Janelle says this Google business profile, and I think we might have
Okay.
to have Brandon Garcia to come on and talk about that at a later show.
All right. I feel like we could go for hours, and that's not what we're here for. But I'm almost at the end of all of my tabs that I have open, so we're getting there. You guys see the image that it generated, right? So
Yep.
if this
Yep.
Yep.
was my actual real business, I would be happy with everything until, right, like, so it's Hudson Valley Dog Spa. Then I get over here, it's a little bit wonky. If it was my own business, I might let it go. It spelled this all right. This is all ClickFunnels. I haven't even left ClickFunnels. Amazing. Now serving Sleepy Hollow, gentle, trusted grooming for senior dogs. I love it. Over here, it's got some wonky stuff to it, like doesn't make sense, but maybe if it's your business, you're okay with it. I'm okay
And
with
I have
this
no
for my
idea
pretend
who
business.
ClickFunnels is using for their image generation, but I'll tell you, Sora right
Mhm.
now is just
Yeah.
killing it as far as image generation goes. But also, you can take that image right there, generated by marketing AI. You take that, you drop that into Canva, and again with the AI stuff that's in there now, you can go in there and I forget. I mean, there's like the magic erase, and there's the magic
Sure.
grab. I don't know what it's called, but you could take like that image that was in the upper right hand corner, and you could just take that, pull it out, take it, change it, move it around, do all kinds of stuff. And so what's going on in Canva right now is just incredible. You drop that thing in there, a minute later, you got that thing cleaned up.
Amazing. And the fact that if somebody was doing this and just scheduling it to go out on a weekly basis, it's not like they need to make 52 blog posts in the next week and have everything perfect, but they can certainly use Barnum AI trial, get all this done, and then for the next little bit, they can edit these things. You can go through and make sure that this is actually factual to your business and that it's answering questions, right?
Now, when you finish generating that image, can you then download that and run it through something like Tiny PNG to compress it, and then obviously from there you can get it back into ClickFunnels. I just don't know, can you download that out of where you created it?
Let's see.
Will you just be able to grab it from the URL from inside the blog post? You may just have to like add it as an element, image element, and then grab the link to download it.
Right. So
Or
I have
actually, if
the
it goes,
image
actually, if it
element.
goes into your image library, I think you can grab the link from there too. So then you'd have to delete it
Awesome.
once you compress it. Because I know when I do images in Sora, they come in like 2 or 3, I don't know, terabytes. It's not that big, but way too big for even YouTube to accept if I'm doing thumbnails. So what was the one this morning? I love img.com or something. Apparently it's something that Catherine Jones has told a lot of people in the FBC to use. And I hadn't looked at it until this morning. It's got like 12 tools in there that do all kinds of stuff to images. I think it was wait, in fact, I got it open here. Yeah, I love img.com. Let me just drop that in the chat here. I love img.com. And yeah, go check that out because, like I said, there's all kinds of image tools in there. Now, I have not used the compressor in there. I've always just used Tiny PNG and just because it says PNG doesn't mean you can't put in a JPEG or anything else. You can put in different file formats. I'm not sure which ones. I don't know if it'll take a Webby. I don't know if it'll take an SFG or SVG, but you can do it, and then you can export it in whatever format you want as well, which I would guess this I love IMG can do the same.
Nice. And it's definitely important to have an image that loads up. I mean, just because a lot of us are used to fast internet, some people don't have that luxury. So to have the page load as quick as possible, I would absolutely take Dan's advice. If you're a local business and you've got, a week that you can do this kind of stuff, and then take your time to actually optimize these pages so that once a week they're going out and they're amazing and they're answering your local area's questions, like, I think it'll definitely be beneficial for you.
Yeah, the biggest thing is no keyword packing. Don't be spammy. Put out good quality information, because the thing with
that
Google,
quality is so important. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, and I have a whole video that you could watch if you wanted to about the history of SEO. And the big thing is Google has to make money off of their search results. And the only way they can do that is by serving up good quality search results, or people will stop using them. And so that's why they have the algorithm they have, and the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of filters over the top of their algorithm. But the algorithm still comes down to number and quality of the links to your content.
Yep.
So when we're seeing these posts rank high shortly after they have been posted, is because that is part of the Google's filtering system that says we're going to give preferential treatment to new posts. So that's why you have to post on a regular basis. So if you teach Google
and being a
that
real
you're going to be
local
dropping
business,
a post, if you're going to be dropping a post once a week, Google knows that, and once a week they're going to go in there and look for your post.
absolutely, without a doubt. And the more that people are going to your site, sure, and like finding it useful, the more that Google gets those signals that I can trust you, and sends more people. Sure.
Right.
Eventually, like if I keep this dog site up, Google is going to get that signal that I'm a scammer instead of a real business, because I'm not a real business, and they'll figure that out. They'll totally figure that out. Right.
Yeah.
When there's nobody calling me because I don't have a phone number, when there's nobody leaving reviews on any place, and sure, when people are just bouncing from my site coming here and they're like, well, how do I actually get in touch with them? Google is going to be like, oh, we don't need to send
here's the
people
thing.
to this site.
You're testing, you're learning, you're playing around right now. But the people who are watching this, and people are going to do this in real life, they're doing it for a real business. And
Absolutely.
so these principles can be applied to a real business.
And it's got to be consistent over and over and over, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now, is there a
So-
feature in ClickFunnels? Again, I have not used the blogs at all. Is there a feature in there to be able to time delay, post schedule, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to schedule the blog posts?
So we actually, let's close this. I published this one. This is the new one that we just did. But let's see. Where do we do that? Convert it back to drafts.
Yeah, I was going to say if it's already published, it wouldn't work. So
I believe it's just like publishing a lesson in a course.
It's
so
funny.
Did you
over here.
reload the
I've
page?
been doing this. Sure. It's available, folks.
Actually reload the page, because I think all you did.
You know what? When we publish it, it's going to ask us, watch, publish. So silly I am. Are you sure you don't publish this? Publish, change. Okay. So did you see what I did there? Awesome. So it asks you if you want to publish it immediately or change the time. So I hit change, and we just go in here and we could say, now we all know that we're running behind. It's 5:59 today. We can have it post, right? Or
there you go.
It looks like it wants to do it 6 a.m. It's no.
That would be this morning. So make it
There
make
we
it
go.
tomorrow
So
morning. Make it the
6
23rd.
p.m. Yeah. 23rd, anytime the 23rd. Apply. Okay. So yes, now this one's actually going to be scheduled to go out tomorrow.
And it says scheduled. They're good. So the upshot of this whole thing is you can use Barnum, you can use AI, you can again use that. What was the offer thing? That I think is huge, because you can build, if you're working with a couple of different clients, you can come into your ClickFunnels account, into your BarnumPT account. You can set up 5 different businesses with 5 different offers, feed all the information into it. And then if you want to, you can supplement that information by getting stuff from ChatGPT for each individual post. So you give it the generic information about the company, and then you say, okay, ChatGPT, I want to write a blog post about how to trim your old corgi's toenails. And it will spit out the information for you. And well, there's a corgi on the site. We're talking about old dogs. So there you go. So you got an old corgi. How do I trim his toenails? Because it tries to bite me every time I try to trim his toenails. And so gives you all that information. You put that in as a supplement to the offer, and then combine it together. Boom, spits it out. And how many times a day can you do that? And how many blog posts can you create in a day? So you sit down for a couple hours, you can bang out 10, 15, 20 blog posts, schedule them all, go on vacation. Yes. Or go back to trimming the dog's toenails. Because again, this is supposedly your business, so you're actually doing the trimming of the toenails. Unless you get smart like Johny and you become the organizer of the people who trim the toenails, and then you can go sit on the beach and call them on the phone and tell them to get back to work.
And with that, I think that is a perfect way to wrap up this show, because we're hitting our time limit. And I think it is, how can you become the organizer, not the doer of the thing?
I certainly hope that I've been helpful, without a doubt. That's what would keep me going. Certainly. My first time, I hope I did good.
Okay. So next week, I don't know if we have anybody scheduled for sure definitively yet for next week. I don't think we do.
You'll have to keep an eye out on the group for the post, or just come next Thursday and it'll be a surprise.
Yes, we're always trying to put in on Wednesday who we got coming up the next week. So we're going to let y'all go for now, and we'll see you then.
See you on the next one.
Perfect.